Hello, my name's Joshua, and I want to stop the division. I want everyone to stop the division. It's really easy to accuse people of being ignorant, of being hateful, of being trolls, or being shills. But it seems like people have just jumped on the bandwagon with these terms. They go to a video, they learn about a new subject, they have their opinions reinforced by others who also believe that, and then everyone else who has anything else to say is a complete moron or a paid disinformant. The reason why I know that this is too widespread is because I've been accused of being a shill just about every time I make a video that questions a current conspiracy theory. Now, I find it an obligation of us as humans and as a society, perhaps not the whole of society, but the movement of people who are trying to find out what life's about and how to deal with society. It's an obligation to stick together, and we don't have to reinforce everyone's ideas. If you don't agree with someone, then that's fine. You can make that known. And we can do it without pumping our chests up and acting very egotistical in the way that we learn from one another. Now, if someone passes you information that you don't believe, your first instinct should not be to insult that person. Now, if you know that information to be incorrect, calling that person ignorant isn't going to serve to do anything to help the cause. And if you don't want to help the cause, then all you're doing is spreading hate. The reason people generally educate one another is because we want others to know what we know, so they can live with that knowledge as well, so society as a whole can learn. And those of us who are learning want to teach. And my personal approach is to not grasp too strongly onto any one idea or push any one idea, because I don't know for sure of anything any more than you do. And I think that the problem is some people get into these reality tunnels where they are so stuck on what they believe that everyone else is wrong. It becomes all-consuming. Let's take, for example, the whole point here is that of all the things that are going on in the world, and all the conspiracy theories or all the just out in your face realities, what's the end game? Are we just looking to fight and poke at other people, or are we really looking to resolve the issues? I want to resolve the issues. I don't want to prove myself by making others look dumb because of what they don't know. And when I hear someone make a comment that's uneducated or ignorant of the facts, I choose to try and reinforce them by explaining my side of it. I may not be right in that sense, but I at least made the effort to communicate. Now, for all the people who are trying to speak the truth amongst all of this nonsense that's going on and all these real shills that really are keeping the division up, all of us have to figure out for ourselves who's for real and who's not. But we have to use more than just what we've heard from other people. We have to do the homework ourselves. You know, the only videos that I've really been accused of being a shill on are the ones about chemtrails, where I ask for evidence, even though I give ample, a very long speech about what I already know and what I've been shown and what I've studied, but people don't want to hear that. They don't even want to know. They don't even want to think about it. What they want to do is push what they believe because they want to reinforce themselves. And maybe I'm wrong, see? The problem is not me being right. The issue here is how people handle themselves. And when you just jump all over people and call them names and accuse them of being shills, then your cause is not served at all. You've done nothing at all to prove yourself. And this goes with so many different subjects right now. I mean, I've been to, there's this one guy who makes videos about just about everything you can imagine, and it's very interesting stuff, but, you know, he takes the numbers too far. He took the whole 7/11 and 9/11 and Mohammed Family Guy episode. He's finding connections in just about everything and posting it as if these things were put out and planned ahead of time. That the Illuminati had set these things up to warn us. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Every time somebody grabs their collar of their shirt a certain way or makes a certain hand gesture in a newspaper and they're a political person, you know, all of a sudden it's a sign. It's a Masonic sign. Who cares about all of that? That's not what's important. It doesn't matter. Because you can show people, hey, look at this, hey, look at this, hey, look at this, all day long. And if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. But you can't prove it either way, and you're spending a lot of time and spinning your wheels trying to explain things that aren't going to get anything resolved. We need to tackle the issue, the deeper issue, the banking system. The problem is the money and the people who run the system. You can't attack an invisible entity. So the best we can do is educate ourselves and keep an eye out for those type of people. But the ones who, the people who are out there exposing the very nonsensical type conspiracies, they're wasting everyone's time because they're sucking in viewers who really are in fear of what's going on in the world, and they fear everything around them. They're being poisoned by their tap water, they're being poisoned from the skies, they're being bombarded with microwaves, and they're being mind controlled. Put away the tinfoil hats for a minute, and let's just think, how do we resolve the issue at hand? You can't hide from it, so you have to confront it. You can complain about it, or you can confront it. So, those of us who want to confront it, we will figure out a way. And I think that we're doing a damn good job right now. Just making videos. You know, I don't generally, my videos are generally from the heart, but there are a lot of folks out there who are making very informative videos where they do a lot of research and can show us that these things are indeed happening. That keeps people aware and awake. We need people to do the homework on these subjects in order to show others that it's really happening. Because the sooner that people become aware, the sooner we can make a change. And I'd like to say that in my lifetime, people will come together finally and start to organize ourselves instead of fighting amongst each other. Because those in power fear what we've created. They fear the organization and the systems we've created. You know, Facebook pages have been taken down because people got too organized, you know, and YouTube channels have been removed because people were too organized. Not always the situation. I mean, there are some folks that think that there's somebody tampering with their YouTube account every 5 minutes because they have something so important to say that the government's trying to censor them. Look, if they want to censor you, they'll censor your ass. They'll just cancel your account. Enough said. But let's stop just thinking about the what-ifs and start thinking about what the hell do we do. Because I try to wake up people around me. Anybody that I talk to, I'm not afraid to make myself look like a... I guess it's funny that I attack conspiracy theorists, yet I'm actually probably the biggest conspiracy theorist of anyone I know. And that's why I attack conspiracy theorists. I don't attack the people, I attack the ideas and ask for critical thinking. And people are obligated to present that. And when a person asks for evidence and they have 10 people call them a shill without providing evidence, that shows nothing about the person who made the video except for that they were right. It's just a bunch of people accusing each other. So let's stop for a minute and think about this. The people who are fighting to stop nuclear power. There's people that are fighting to stop land rape, you know, destruction of our forests. There are people fighting to stop fracking. And there are people fighting to stop Monsanto. And there are people fighting to stop big business, people fighting to stop government, people fighting to stop tyranny, people fighting to stop hunger. All of those people make up the community that is arguing amongst themselves. And we forget sometimes that the end game is the same. We all want the same thing. I don't know many people out there who don't want just a happy life with people that get along. A lot of people think that it may not be attainable, but I think it is attainable to an extent. You know, each one of us has to create our own reality. You know, I could choose to be miserable all the time because I'm in chronic pain all the time. But I don't. I find a position that I can sit and I do my thing, you know. I could use that as an excuse to get loaded all the time, but I don't. I could get sucked into the fear stuff too, and I have. I've been there. I've been into every corner of the conspiracy world and pulled my head back out of my ass and realized that it's a waste of everyone's time. The real issue is right in front of us, and that issue is us. How about the division on the internet? That's one thing, but what about when you're walking down the street and you see someone who is dressed different than you, or someone who drives a different car? Now, I know there are people out there that say, hey, I don't judge. And that's fine. If you don't judge, that's awesome. I'm glad you've made it to that point in your life where you can pass by someone without instantly judging them. I haven't. And I make a conscious effort to do it. I don't consistently judge people, but my instant reaction is always there. Of course, you know, once my mind processes who they are, I realize they're just a person, and I consciously think, oh, it's just a person like me. But the homeless guy in the corner is, oh, it's a homeless guy. He's going to ask for money. You know, these are the small judgments and assumptions we make. And I think it's really important that we confront these things in ourselves, because that's the only way that we're going to make a better world. When we confront the issues in ourselves, then we start to see them more often. We start to see our faults. And I know in my life, with the people I've met, people don't want to see their faults. And I didn't either. When people point out my faults, I still to this day defend myself. But I've made a conscious change in my life. So people still label me with the faults I had when I was young. And sometimes I try to defend myself by saying, look, I'm not like that anymore. But, you know, we build a reputation. And so I want to spend my time being as positive, as honest with myself, and as honest with the world as I can. Because I think the more you do it, the easier it is to do. And then you'll start to see yourself critically. Everything you do, you'll analyze it. And then, before you type out that comment to someone, before you accuse someone of being a shill, or of being ignorant, or of being a piece of shit, you know, just think about it for a minute. Think about what you're saying. Think about where that person is in the world, and think, is this person really a bad person, or do they just not agree with my viewpoint? And that seems to be what I see. If you don't agree with someone's viewpoint 100%, then you're just out of the club. That just has to stop. It has to stop. I mean, it's like I'm grasping. I see the potential here. I see the potential for everyone to get together and organize ourselves and do something and speak and make ourselves heard. But people aren't ready. And when I see the real shills out there, the ones who really are paid, and yes, there are warehouses full of government employees whose job is to do nothing but to go to websites that expose things that they don't want to be exposed, and to accuse those people of being idiots and fools. They put out fake videos just so people will copy and paste the videos. That way later they can reveal the video as a fake and make conspiracy theorists look like nuts. I know that, and I realize that. But when people start seeing a conspiracy in every single thing, that's an addiction. That's an addiction to, you know, more of an obsession, I guess. And it's not going to get anything done, because when we start believing that everybody's doing these hidden messages, then all of a sudden, you know, I mean, I've been accused of being a Skull and Bones member because I wore a pirate hat on one of my videos. a skull and crossbones hat. I mean, is that deep thinking or what? I mean, yeah, okay, I'm skull and bones. It's all a secret. These are the things. These are the things that bother me the most, and I think that we can each make a choice whether or not we want to expose ourselves, like, you know, and insult one another, or if we want to stop the division, mend it up, mend up the seam, and get ourselves back together and back on track so we can get our world back, because it is our world. And there's people laughing behind the curtain while we run around bashing into each other like blindfolds on. It's ridiculous. Please, everyone, you know, spread the idea that division doesn't work. It never worked among religions, and it sure as hell isn't going to work on the internet. And it's not going to work to solve any of the world's problems. I am not one to say what will solve the problems of the world, but at least I can say I know what doesn't work. And fighting amongst ourselves over something as petty as a detail in a video that we can't even prove is real, we need to move past that. So, namaste everyone, and I'll see you soon.